Okay, I'll do everything myself. Only if I need you to add something. Leave it as is. I'm a businessman. I'm a family man. I'm ready to take my own personal business to the next level. We're actually first as part of something major. We're here to win with others together. Lives are being changed. We have no choice just to take our life and throw into something different, transform our lives. Don't just be one of the viewers down here. You want to be one of the people over here with us. And I assure you, we're going to put you in a position to win.
Dude, that stinger is awesome. I need a good stinger like that, bro. My openings are so lame. My barber from St. Catharines, Ontario, I'll call him out by name. Danny Paquin called me the other day and sent me a text message. He's like, Jimmy, you're open. It's gross, man. It's all, it's that low, evil voice. And I just skip by it, but you're turning a bunch of people off, man. Just skip that thing. So I'm glad to be on your show, man. I'm much more comfortable as a guest, I'm comfortable either way. Yeah, I'm comfortable either way, but I enjoy being a guest more, and I appreciate that slick stinger for an open, man. Well done on you, man.
I appreciate it, Jim. But we got a little gift for you. We said we're gonna change the background,
all right,
to accommodate our guest Jim Fannin out there in Dominican Republic, doing this thing. And it's going to be a great show today. I think we're going to be on for probably less than an hour, man. And trust me, once we get on, the conversation start. It's beautiful. So we definitely want to get some people on. One thing we definitely want to do is you want to tag a friend, share. We got some great information that we're going to be talking about with Jim Fannin. We got some stuff that's just straight from the hip, but we're talking about remote living. We're talking about buying Dominican Republic. We're talking about basically just the world. I know, Jim, you talk about politics, you talk about real world, events. So sometimes we wear off, but guess what? It's always healthy just to have these type of debates and conversation. So let's let some folks get on. Let me go ahead here. We got some new technology, Jim. I'm feeling it, man. I'm feeling the technology. What's the saying? We're building it as we fly, right? So we're not perfect, but we'll definitely try to get it right? If we mess up, let us know and we do better.
As long as you look good, that's all. That's all that matters. And you're always pimped right out. So I always appreciate whatever style you're bringing to the conversation. So thanks for having me. And you know what? I backed away from politics. Well, I backed away from talking about it live. I can't look away from what's going on politically, but you know what? It's not helping me any down here, and it doesn't give me it doesn't make me well. It doesn't make me feel any better about my life. I can't do anything about politics, so why? Like, my mother would say if she's still here, Jimmy, who cares who's mayor? Who cares who the prime minister is? Just go to work. Be happy, be productive. That's the only thing that's going to make you happy is by being productive. And you know what? You focus so much on your own rage and your own dislikes and stuff like that. And I get social media. It's kind of, that's what it's all about. But it's not, and again, my mother is deep into my head. She's been gone about 13 years, but she's deep into my head about, you can't do anything about it. And, when I was down and out and I'd go run to my mom, she'd kick me in the ass a little bit. And she'd say, well, usually I was broke. So she'd say, here's $30. I want it back this time. She never got it back. And go do something nice for someone else. It's not about you. Go do something. Go, lay your proverbial coat down in a puddle for an old lady and let her walk across it. I don't know if that's the right analogy, but she was right, man. It's not about you. And the more you focus on self, the more down you get, because I'm my greatest critic. So, but, and that's when I get lit up, when I'm coaching, when I'm advising, one of my greatest lifts is when sorry, that was a throat gurgle I didn't want for air. When somebody says, hey, I'm struggling, what do you think? Or I need help, or like, help me with this. That's when I'm lit right up. So less self and more about other people. And that's what we're doing down here in real estate. We spend so much time chasing our tail, running around getting listings, getting frustrated by buyers that lead you around for 2 months and then go cold on you. And you forget that, it's not about that. It's about when those people come to you and they're like, dude, I want to make a living down there. I'm coming down there. I need help. Or I want to invest and I don't know anything about the culture. I don't know anything about buying down there. I need your expertise. Now you've got a purpose, And so anytime we're living without purpose, that's when you get into trouble, and isolating doesn't help that. So I appreciate your time today, and thanks for having me on. I've been watching your shows, man. You've been doing great. I watched you with Annie and Patrick the other day. I'm like all about the kids, so I was really impressed by that.
Oh yeah, they did a great job. Annie and Patrick, they did phenomenal, man. They took center stage and answered all the tough questions and actually gave us some really good perspective. I think that probably changed a lot of minds, because I got I think from that particular interview I did with them, I think it also generated some calls that came in where some perspectives were changed, because that was actually some of the fear of actually, working remote out of the country. If you have a family, you have young ones versus teenagers versus young adults. Annie and Patrick did an incredible job. Dittos. Kudos to them and shout outs to them.
Yeah, you know what? Going back to the politics and the numbers and whatnot, I'm a 10-time political candidate in Canada. Most of the time I ran green because I was always kind of a lefty. I've come center right now, but I used to say from the stage, which I really enjoyed being on the political stage and debating politics. I'm good at it. I'm funny. I can open people's minds up to. Back then, I was talking about proportional representation, no more minority supported majority governments and stuff like that. And so, but the vote total was all about ego. And being a Green Party guy, I was lucky to get 2-3%. Actually, my best showing I think was 6.8%. So for a Green, that's huge. And similar in broadcasting, I'm looking down here. I've got 2 viewers. That's about ego, and you forget about the impact. This lives forever. It's going to be on the internet forever, and you don't normally get somebody who goes, "Hey, I saw your live. I'm on here right now. Oh, and you said that thing that changed my life." No, you might not get it for years later. And so, I really try to remind the people that I interview and myself, because I'm good at giving advice and not good at taking it myself, that your impact is not always acknowledged. So you might be helping someone with their life without really knowing it. And it might be years, months, days, weeks, years later before somebody goes, "Oh yeah, I saw you on with AJ and you were talking about a B12 shot and I went and took it and it helped me, and thank you. You saved my life," And while we're on the B12 shot, sorry for rambling a little bit, but more of me and less of you is good for your show. Not so good if I'm the host. I was sitting at George's Oasis Bar down here, and I live in Caribe Campo, and halfway up the hill from Superpola, where the buildings are, Caribe Campo is like it's a few buildings. There's Residencial Tropimar across the street. There's Terraza Tropimar, and then there's one at the top of the hill. And I was I was at the bar, and George has been here for a long time. He's a Russian via Brazil, via New York City, via Philadelphia, via Fort Lauderdale, and then he landed here, and he's been here for a long time, and he runs a little bar down halfway down the hill. And I was sitting with a couple of friends, and I was telling them about Friday. Friday, I need to inject myself for the first time, right? And so I've been doing a lot of research on how you stick the needle in and where you put it. And there's actually a sweet spot in the glute. I didn't know that. I don't want to hit my sciatic nerve. I'm having enough pain down there already. I don't need to aggravate it any further by hitting it with a needle. And so I started talking to them about my unease and my nervousness about because Friday's coming fast. You know, like, I love you, brother. You've been so good for me, and I should do less talking because when you talk, I get stuff, right? And so you didn't really convince me much. I didn't need much convincing. I was just like, you know what? My head could be clearer. I'm sober. There's no reason for me to be down. You know, there's no reason to wake up feeling hopeless and like, what is this? My testosterone levels are fine last time I checked. I should probably get some more blood work. But I'm looking for a boost. I'm looking to get my head clear. I'm looking for a little bit more motivation. And like I said, I'm sober, so I don't have to worry about waking up hungover anymore. You know, commission coach Patrick, I'll get into that in a little bit. So anyways, I'm at the bar with a couple friends and George, and I'm telling them about my apprehension about giving myself the shot. And George chirps, and he's like, dude. He didn't say dude. He's 83 years old. He's like, you know what? I had a friend of mine who couldn't get out of bed, was just hopeless, and he took the B12 shot. And next thing you know, we're running to Monkey John. We're doing road trips, and you wouldn't believe the enthusiasm and the energy level of this old guy. And he was a friend of George's, so they're up there in age, right? And I'm like, wow, you know, because George is kind of like my dad. He's the first guy to go, kid, forget about it. Forget about Canada. Forget about everything you know. Well, you're in the Dominican Republic right now. Like, stop it. Like, he's good at kicking me in the ass when I need it, right? Not so good at rubbing my ears, but that's okay. I got other people for that. So to hear George give an approval to something like the B12 shot, I was kind of surprised. And like I said, it's only been a few days. And, you know, I'm not looking for a magical cure. I'm not thinking I'm going to wake up tomorrow, my back, my bulging disc is going to be healed, and my sciatic pain is going to be gone, and all that kind of stuff. And you said give it a month, so I really appreciate you taking me on and doing that for me. So just for the people that don't know, I went over to AJ's place the other day, where he lives here in Sosua, and he says, no, come over, I'll teach you, I'll give you, and blah blah blah. So, and I didn't pass out when you gave me the needle because I faint in needles. I went to Gideon. He said, drop your drawers, hang on to the bed, drop your drawers. So I pull my drawers down, and I start going, oh, I'm gonna pass out. So after he pulled the needle out, I went and sat on his stool in the corner of the room, and I looked up at him. I must have been green because he said to me, do you want to lie down? I'm like, yes. So I got up on his medical bed, and I was okay. I didn't pass out, but the next day I go, and Anna, his very attractive receptionist and assistant, brought me in the room, and she looked at me. She said, well, close the door. I go, well, where's Gideon? She goes, oh, didn't he tell you? I'm giving you the shot today. I'm like, you know what? I bet you I don't pass out with a very attractive nurse giving me the shot because, and that's the same with you. I'm in front of my boy. I don't want to make a big mess. I don't want to hit my head on the bed on the way down. And so you gave me the needle, and I was fine. I drove home on my bike. I didn't crash it. I didn't pass out because I have this mental thing that sometimes I get woozy when I'm getting a shot. Sometimes there's a delayed reaction. It's 5, 10, 20 minutes later, and then I pass out. I'm like, what's this all about? So anyways, I appreciate you setting me up. And so what he did is he gave me the shot. He talked to me for a couple more minutes about some of the benefits and things to stay open for. And then he gave me a couple full syringes to take home with me, and they're at the bottom of the fridge. And I'm almost getting to the point now where I'm like, okay, Friday's coming. I'm kind of looking forward to doing this for the first time. It's just, the way you stab it and push the plunger down. So anyway, thank you for that. I'm kind of
vivid.
I'm looking forward to whatever results come of it. But I'm not expecting too much, so I'll let you know how that goes. But yeah, you coached me pretty well.
No worries, man, Jim. No, I love the way you broke it down. But one of the benefits, man, and like I expressed to you, my life changed because of it, and I'm happy that in the very beginning it wasn't more of a physiological shift that you're looking for. You're looking for something to just put you in a space and a mindset too to just be, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
more productive. And I think that is one of the huge benefits because right around when the world was shut down, I was able to benefit that experience and see how much I've
Mm-hmm.
grown since then. But I'm going to pivot a little bit towards. I know for those who's watching, welcome. This is Let's Talk About It, Position to Win show with Andy Jean. I have a guest, Jim Fannin, breaking it down with you today. I'm all the way in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm over here, man, having a great time. The weather's a little, I would say, cooler than what I'm used to over there in the DR. I heard Miami, unfortunately, had a big flood. A lot of people were affected in Fort Lauderdale. So I definitely, my prayers go out to all those families out there. Some of my team members who were affected down in Brickell and Fort Lauderdale. Big shout out. I hope you guys, stay safe. And I think school was closed as well.
Amen.
The county shut down schools, a lot of businesses. But right now, I think things are back to normal, and I'm hoping that they're back to normal.
You know how many
But
friends called me the other day to let me know it was 80 degrees in Niagara? I'm like, dude, good for you. Good. You got one nice day of spring. Now it's -4 again. So yeah. Get down to DR. Yeah. Oh, it's 80 degrees up here. That's great. Yeah. Let me know what it's going to be later.
Absolutely. Now, but you know what, Jim, and this it just is what it's about. It's having the ability to move and work from anywhere. I think is one of the huge benefits, and this is why we're also having this conversation. One of the things that comes up to me, I had an incredible show with my cousin, a good friend of mine, who
Mm-hmm.
we've been chopping, I would say, wood for a long time, letting folks know that there's more than your neighborhood, it's more than your county. In some cases, it's actually more than the actual state that you're in. The world now is becoming one. Folks are actually coming together, whether it's through technology, whether it's through uniformity of mindset, seeking something more than what they've been, I would say, fed or brainwashed for so long. And I enjoy these conversations because it always allows me, and it makes it's like exploring. It's like you watching an incredible movie. It's the same thing with these conversations. It's like you enter in a new orbit and you just seeing it from a different perspective. And those perspectives will, I would say, resonate in the way you're thinking, in terms of the delivery. And sometimes, the delivery may be a little strong. Jim Fannin, you're one of those guys who keep it straightforward, and
Way too
and
blunt.
I can say in some cases I am, but guess what? We have to deliver it. We have to let people know. Buying Dominican Republic, right? Buying real estate, remote working versus, I would say, being a digital nomad. What's kind of your opinion on that before we actually jump into that real hardcore real estate?
Real estate, you definitely need to be on site for. But I mean, if I had to go back to Canada, I could still work real estate here because I have contacts here now. And so, I'm not doing the physical showing of houses and stuff like that, but it's all about lead generation. So you can do that remotely. And, I left my country voluntarily, but under pressure and quickly. And I didn't have any contacts down here. The last time I was in Dominican Republic was 30 years ago, my first time off the continent. And I fell in love with the people, the culture, the food, and I stayed at Casa Marina for a week. I rented a bike. I had my mom on it. We were going to the casino. I broke the chain on the bike, and some kid came by, and I mean this literally, sticks and stones, he removed the link, put the mastered it back up, and got the chain back on the sprocket. Now, the sprocket was white hot when I got home, or back to the hotel, because the chain was so tight he couldn't move the wheel. But I'm like, wow. And then I told Travis Gillen how much I paid this kid. He's like, yeah, except you gave the kid 20 times too much. I'm like, I don't care. I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere. I think it was Playa Chiquita back then, but no, there was no roads to Playa Chiquita. It was a dirt path that I was driving, and to me it seemed like miles and miles, even though it was less than a mile. But broke down in the middle of nowhere, and this kid fixed me up and got me rolling, and Travis is like, yeah, no, you paid him too much. I'm like, so I fell in love with the place, And then when it was time to move, my brother had to remind me. He's like, dude, don't you remember when you came home from Dominican Republic, you bought all the Spanish tapes. You were going back. You were going to get married to someone. You were going to have a Dominican kid. Like, all of it. I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess I did forget about that. And I forgot how much I love the culture and the language and all that kind of stuff. And now my Spanish is coming along a little bit, more than it ever did 30 years ago. And I just love it here, man. And I call it one of the freest countries in the world because I don't have Justin Trudeau or Doug Ford, and those are politicians back in Canada for those that don't know, or, Mayor Fat Cisco. I joke, I used to be friends with Matt Cisco. He's the mayor now. I don't have any of that stuff. No one's asking me for V passes or telling me to put a mask on or anything. I mean, this has pretty much died. Can you believe we're looking back and we're going, did COVID even happen? It seems like everyone just forgot about it, So anyway, it's such a different lifestyle down here. And what I love about it is, I swear, the men on this island fire me up. And I think that the guys that I see that are standing arm in arm with each other, busting balls and laughing, half of these guys don't even know each other. They just ran into each other, like they smile at you all the time. I remember when I first got to the island here this time around, I had this kid drive it. I was pulling out of the gas station in the car, and this kid just had this big, bright smile, like he was laughing at me already. I'm like, what is this kid laughing? Like, what's he laughing at? He's just smiling at me. Everyone is so damn happy down here. Everyone says hello, and the only hard times I get is from expats, gringos that are bitter. I don't know. Like, you're in paradise. Shut up, man. Enjoy the beach. Like, why are you so bitter? So I've had an unbelievable positive experience coming down here. And now that I'm connected, I can leave for a period of time and still stay connected, even to the real estate business. I've got I think 100 and some odd listings up on point two. And it's a strange life down here real estate wise, because back at home, all my listings were exclusive. My clients didn't deal with other agents. Now they list with me, and then they call Remax and Century 21 and Coldwell Banker and 7 other realtors, and you got 15 guys with the same listing. And if they take different commissions, some of them got the properties at different prices, which I don't understand. I'd like to everyone to have uniform pricing, but with different commissions down here, it's weird how they juggle the prices around. So I've had nothing but positive experiences down here. Again, I kind of carve on the expats, but it's just an unbelievable freedom and liberty. I call it the Wild West, man, because there's no rules. There's very little regulation. I bought the odd cop lunch here and there, because these guys are hungry. They pull you over, you give them your documentation. Like, I drive a bike, and I've got by the time I get the ownership out and everything, and most of the time they're like, okay, get out of here. And then once in a while they go, mi hambre. I'm hungry. And so I remember the one time.
Tengo hambre, right? That means I'm hungry. Tengo hambre.
Hambre's man. Hambre, I think, is hungry.
Hambre. Okay,
hambre.
Well,
I'm learning. Hambre. So, so I remember the one time I got pulled over, and he had told me to go before I even found my documentation. I couldn't find it. It was on my phone. I was driving my buddy's bike. And he says, get out of here, basically in Spanish, right? And then he says, mi hambre. And I said, listen, I've got 500 pesos on me. I'm not giving it all to you. Will you make change? So here I am in the middle of the street, downtown Sosúa, Albany. Talking to a cop. He's letting me go, and I want to buy him lunch, but I don't want to give him everything in my wallet. So yeah, he made change for me. And then he thanked me. I'm like, thank you. You could have made my life very difficult today. You could have, treated me badly or taken me to jail or whatever. I mean, he just pulled me over as a traffic stop. I wasn't doing anything wrong, but it's an unbelievable way of life. And I've never bought a Canadian cop lunch before. I mean, I bought lunch privately for cops because they were my friends, but not on the side of the road as part of my transaction. So, I just I love it. Nothing but good things to say about the locals down here, and I tip well. These the cops get paid nothing. The servers get paid very little, and so I've got a place that I go to. I wish I could tell you the name. It's on Pedro Clisante. It's one of my favorite lunchtime spots. And I went from paying the gringo tax, which is more than everyone else pays, to the Dominican discount, you know? And, you know, she winks at me and she puts a couple pieces extra chicken in my thing. I know how much I'm supposed to get. And so I always give her 100 pesos every time. And now they treat me like a local or even better. So I'm appreciative. I told her, you know what? Times have been tough. I appreciate the extra meat, the extra lunch, you know, and when I do have the money, you're getting it. Like, and I follow through on that as well. So when times aren't so tough, she gets paid extra. So I love it down here, man. It's getting kind of hot.
Hey, Jim, you there? Okay.
Yeah. I had to turn the ceiling fan on.
Getting some feedback. I got Steve Merson, good friend of mine. He's been doing some stuff out there in the real estate market himself. He says it's a dog-eat-dog market. What does that mean, brother? I mean, he's talking how great the people are there, but are we talking about real estate or
agents are sharks, man? They do this for a living, and don't you want to see the true colors of an agent? Threaten their income. And that's what we're all in competition down here. So, you know, it's all good. I tend to, I've never operated that way. You know, I just want to make sure that my clients get good service. But yeah, it can be very competitive. But if you're doing your job correctly, you'll keep your clients. You don't have to worry about them skating you.
That's right. No, it's amazing. I like how you broke down the perspective and you're giving us so much aspect of it, because, you know, when you're actually on the ground, you're on the field, you're able to really experience it firsthand. That's why you're able to, you know, not only deal with the locals, but your experience with the foreigners as well, putting deals together, whether it's working, whether it's, you know, buying a property, renting. And also another big thing I think we launched over there at Viva Dominican is we have the property management, because one of the concerns that a lot of people had was, you know, what do I do once I move in? If I have a property, if I plan on traveling back and forth, you know, what do I do? Do I have someone who could be responsible to take care of the basic things? So can you elaborate a little bit about that? You know, just give people a walkthrough, a visual of how that looks.
What was the question again? What looks? What am I describing?
In terms of property management, right?
Oh, property management. Yeah. You know what? I'm glad you said that.
You know, because what I try to do is I ask the first question moving in. You know, the first step to moving into Dominican, what's the necessary step? The secondary step is, you know, once you're there, do you buy? Do you purchase? So that's really how we navigate in some cases, you know, because that's the question that I get, and that's what I want to continue pounding on, because I want to get it out of you. I was able to talk to Clayton. I was able to talk to Kathleen, and this is just getting all the different perspectives. I think just allows people to make a great decision. Yeah. And by the way, before you answer, I'm also inviting you as another invited special guest to another event. I would say a live show that we're doing tomorrow with Snyder Gene as well. So maybe you could jump on. I think I also invited Clayton. It's going to be a full house, about 4 or 5 of us on the panel going back and forth and talking.
Yeah, I love it.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just sharing the screen with you now, because I wasn't much into property management back in Canada, but here, especially with this building right here, because it's my favorite building in Sosua, huge pool. I called it the biggest pool in Sosua the other day, and somebody rightly corrected me, because there are bigger pools than this, like Sosua Ocean Village, you dummy. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, one of the biggest pools. And so property management here, you know, I'm glad that Clayton had the vision to get into that, because I'm all about sales. You know, I don't do rentals, but now I'm doing rentals, and this is a condo that one of my clients bought for $75,000. I'm sharing this with you, but for my people that are watching on my stream, I'm just kind of giving you a roundabout here, and I'm walking in the front door. This was a $75,000 main floor, 1 bedroom, 65 meter, and you can't see the dirt. Man, we had to clean 10 years, like a decade of rental juice. Other people, I call it OPD, other people's dirt out. You can't see it on the video, but man, that thing behind the stove, behind the fridge, it was just, So it's gorgeous now. $75,000 main floor condo, 24-hour gated security, huge pool. Look at this balcony overlooks the pool. There's 121 units here. The nice mix of Dominicans and Haitians and expats, a lot of expats, but some locals too. And this thing I've got available right now for rent. We're asking $650 for short term. I go cheaper for a 1 year lease. I think I quoted $565 the other day for a 1 year May to May. It's available in May. I promised to get a new shower curtain there. Those windows brighten up the kitchen nice because the afternoon sun comes through the back of this condo. And the nice thing about this condo is that's the road, but it's not on the main turn. Like we have a roundabout in the front of the building where all the motos come, and it's kind of noisy at night or during the day when they're dropping off kids for school and stuff like that. But this one, you can leave it locked up for 6 months, go away, and you come back, it doesn't smell moldy because the front and the back are open. There's no hallways in between, right? So not only did this sell for a nice deal, and you can see what walking out your front door looks like come on. $75,000 it sold for, and it rents for, I don't know, $550, $600, $650, depending on, what term you're looking for. And I'll just stop sharing there and see if I can get back to the StreamYard here. Hopefully I didn't lose you. There we go. So yeah, that's that has not been one of my strengths. Has not been like a part of the business that I've ever focused on. Yes, I did rentals for only clients back in Canada. Because we just didn't list a whole lot of, and to be honest with you, there's not a whole lot of money in it unless you're doing 5-year terms or whatever. So I did it as a favor for clients. I'm doing it as a favor down here for my client that bought this thing because he wasn't even here when he closed it. I met him on Thursday. I showed him the condo on Friday. Saturday we wrote it up. Sunday we got it accepted. Monday we're at the lawyer, and the next Monday it closed that fast. And he wasn't even here. He left the island on Wednesday. He signed with Guido Perdomo. He gave a power of attorney to one of his in-house lawyers because Guido's acting as the lawyer. He can't be the lawyer on the POA. So, yeah, the kid went home. He started transferring his deposits. And Guido sent us an email that was copied all with the buyer and the seller and everything. He says, I've got the money in the bank. I can close anytime you want. So we're like, well, see you 11 o'clock on Monday. This is Friday. He said, I got the money's in the escrow. So we're ready to go. So I showed up on Monday in place of my buyer with the POA that acted for the vendor because the vendor was in Russia. One vendor in Russia, one vendor in Africa. It was a married couple. They're on 2 different continents. And so they had their power of attorney, which flew the original copy of the power of attorney into the island. And then when we had the original, Guido says, yeah, I got the money. Let's close it. So super cool. And so, I love that Clayton's got a vision of Viva Street, where we have a whole street of Viva clients that have bought properties and that we're managing them at a higher level than anyone else is doing. And we've got some good management companies down here. I recommend a couple of them, especially when they're in Casa Linda. But he's got the right idea, buy a street, have a street of exclusively Viva clients that we will manage for a good, chunk of change, and I mean they're getting the majority of the chunk of change, and then provide first class 5-star service. So I'm impressed at how he's moving along with it. I looked at the contract the other day. Wow, is it complete and inclusive? It doesn't forget anything. Like, and a lot of the contracts down here, I'm a Virgo, right? So I look at the contracts and I'm like, well, where's the escape clause? Where's the holdover? Where's this? Where's that? And I looked at that property management contract and I'm like, dude, wow, that thing has got more than you need. So, yeah, I think he's on the right path. And you have to remind me about the next show that's coming up, but I'd love to be on a panel with Clayton. He's a good man. Everyone loves Clayton, and I love that about him. You can't find one person on this island to say anything bad about Clayton. He's just really likable. And I appreciate that because I'm not really that guy. My brother's that guy. Everyone loves my little brother, but Jimmy Fannon's got a little bit of an edge, So, yeah, I'm really impressed with where he's come from and where he's going with the property management thing. And we're only coming up on a year. Like this is a brand new brokerage, and we're chasing some big dogs down here that have been established and they're doing some decent business. And I feel like we're positioned as kind of the number 2 brokerage now. You've got the big boys, and they've got a big name, and they've got some really glitzy advertising and marketing and all that kind of stuff. But Viva's, I think, going to be the second choice for people because that brokerage isn't going to hold all their agents all the time. Agents come and go all the time. And I have a strong feeling that Viva Dominican Properties is going to be the second choice for many people when they transition. And so, yeah, he's done a really nice job, and I can't say enough about the support that I've gotten. And it goes both ways. I mean, I'm a 30-year vet, so I see things like a 30-year vet does. So we've been helping each other, but good guy. Can't say enough about Clayton. And not because he's just my broker.
We have nothing but nice things to say about Clayton. He's, I think it's unanimous when you say we share that vision of Viva Street. It's so funny. Yesterday, I had a very interesting meeting. Alex Proctor, who's my right-hand man on this side, actually made me meet some pretty incredible people who are actually looking for opportunities as such, where they want to be able to find, properties where they can live a quarter of the year in, supplemented with income, and looking for management where they're absentee owners. This is incredible. So, the word is getting out there, and people are opening up their eyes a bit more, and also looking at their pockets and looking at it's getting real slim with all this commotion going on around the world. So their pockets are getting slimmer. Now they're a little bit more conscious on, am I getting a good spread on putting my money here versus if I try and put it there, where there's a balance, where there's an enjoyment factor and also an income factor, and also also an opportunity to, just kind of, I would say, add more life to life itself. And because everywhere you go that's new, you meet new people. Like when I hear your stories, Jim, some people's stories may be the beach, somebody else is the mountains. In your case, it's the experiences that you have, the day-to-day interactions. I personally saw you drinking coconut with one of the brothers on the side, having a great old time.
Dude, the guy's name is Ray, and he is one of the sweetest Dominicans, doesn't hardly speak a word of English, and I kind of consider him like one of my best friends. He's where I go, I hang out, I drink coconut, and you know what? He gets me. I sit down the other day, he goes, "You hungry?" I go, "Yeah." So he starts splitting coconuts, right? And I like the young ones now, the young coconuts, it is. Because it takes when you're eating the mature coconut, it's a lot of work. Like it'd take you 25 minutes to eat a whole coconut, right? Because it's just mature meat. The young ones are like oysters. They're gelatinous. You scoop them out and you slurp them back, and they're full of juice, right? So he just starts splitting them. Well, I tried to pay him when I left because it's 50 cents a coconut, right? But because I wasn't drinking one, these are all just ones laying on the ground that nobody else is eating, right? Because they just drink the juice and they go. They drink the coconut water and they go. So I must have ate 10 of them. And he wouldn't take any money from me. And my brother went down there. I should know. Forget I said that. I had a friend of mine the other day go down there. He's like, dude.
Jim, my daughter loves the inside of coconuts. I had her try it the first time. I know she loved the water, but when she tried it, she's like, "What is this?" And she gives it a little name called Nana. It's so catchy, and it's all around the house. We're trying to get coconut Nana, but I share that experience as well.
That guy's one of my good friends, and they're putting the sidewalk in front of his station. He's usually parked under the tree just down from Superpola grocery store, but they're doing the sidewalk in front of where he always hangs out. So for a week, I've got a 1-gallon jug over here that's empty. For a week, I haven't been able to top it up because I'll go through that. It's 5 liters, so it's just more than a gallon. I'll drink that in a day and a half, and I usually mix it with water, and I'm putting I got some alkaline water that I'm drinking these days, but yeah, that guy is just a sweet guy, and he's a ball buster too. He, if I bring a friend down, he'll be making fun of me in his own way, and calling me names and all this kind of stuff. He's got a great heart. So I got a lot of time for the locals down here. They're just really sweet people, and for whatever reason, I'm attracted to the men. I mean, not that way, but yeah, the men just light me up, man. Their smile lights up the street. You don't see that so much with the girls, but the men just seem like super happy all the time, willing to help. I went to move my bike the other day, and I had a couple bikes parked in behind me. This one moto driver jumps up, he runs over, he picks up the back of the bike and pulls it. I'm like, why did I think of that? I'm trying to move it, and the clutch doesn't work, and it's not moving. And I'm, getting aggravated because I got to get to work. And he comes up and he picks up the back end of the bike and just moves it over. I'm like, oh, thanks. And he didn't have his hand out. He wasn't expecting to get paid for it. Lots of them do. But a lot of the times, the majority of them, they're not looking to get paid. So, but, it's been an interesting shift down here because I was mostly residential in Canada for 30 years. And it can be a little frustrating because there's a lot of hand-holding with first-time home buyers, and there's a lot of people that get emotional with selling their house or buying their house, and there's a lot of, psychological coaching and hand-holding. In commercial real estate, there's none of that. The numbers work or they don't. And so I've been working some hotels and resorts, and I've got a small business right now, Kalo K down here. I don't know if you've ever eaten at Kalo K, but she's got a great reputation. It's 200 meters from the beach, right across from Casa Marina, down the street from Spanky's Bar. Anybody that knows Spanky's, it's Canadian owned, and they, their shots are 4-finger shots. Like there's this much Coke in the top, and the rest is rum. I have 2 of those, and you're annihilated. But she just reduced it to $29,900, that is. She's got really good numbers. She was profitable the first year. She doubled her numbers the second year. And in year 3 right now, she's on track to double it again. I won't give you what the numbers are, but I'll give them to you privately. $29,000. She's got a good following. She sells out of her meals on a regular basis. She's got pierogies on Wednesday. She's charging 595 pesos for pierogies, which is $13 American. And she sells every single seating out, So I see your banner. It's the commission coach. That's okay. Code is fine. So, yeah, I've been doing a little bit more commercial, industrial. I'm doing even some rentals, some vacant land, some development land, and I love it. It's a little less hand-holding because you're dealing with professional investors. It's a different beast. It's a different buyer altogether. Everyone thinks they know everything about everything when they come down here, and, commercial buyers are the same. But that one's that if it doesn't sell this week, I'm going to be surprised because I'm getting a whole ton of action on it. I had somebody through the other day. I thought they were going to pull the trigger on it, and then they just went cold. They were talking about how much they loved it and asking the owner, do you have a Canadian bank account, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, this is sold. And then the next day he's like, well, it's I'm not paying that, and it's not worth that, and all that furniture's IKEA. And I'm like, what? Dude, $29,000, the ROI on it's 1 year. Okay, so your money, the return on investment, you get your money back in 1 year. So I'm giving away the farm here, but you can figure out that her profits are at least $30,000 American a year because that's how much we're trying to sell it for. So anyways, there's a selfish plug for Kalo K. It's a good restaurant. She's got a great reputation, and the price is right, $29,900.
No, it's an incredible spot. I mean, there's quite a few more spots too. I mean, if we go down the list, I'm quite sure we can find a spot for all different occasions. I think one of the spots that I would say wifey fell in love with is La Catalina. It's in Puerto Plata. I guess as you're entering right before Playa Dorado, and it's an incredible view. I think there's a helipad there, which is pretty cool. And, it's just such a great ambiance, not only for adults, but we had the opportunity to bring my daughter as well. And as we're entering the space, I mean, just the antique of experience, with the old cars, I think there was some 1940s or 1950 military or vehicles. There was some old Beetle. I think there was an old Lincoln, if I'm correct. I think there was a Thunderbird too. So we took pictures, and right before we got in, you can smell the aura. I mean, of just great food, and there were some cigars in the air as well. And on the right side, I think, which was probably pretty incredible because my daughter was the first one that caught it. There's a huge area just for kids, just trampoline and toys. And you can imagine her face just lit up. And wifey on the left side saw a bar that just twisted from one end to another with those guys shaking mojitos, and she was gone. So I was by myself within the first minute of entering La Catalina, so everybody found something they liked. And, outside of that, we had an incredible dinner. It was, a nice dinner overlooking the mountains. I think you can even see the ocean of Puerto Plata. I think right on a little bit south of the view, there's the airport. I think I saw some airplanes just landing. I'm like, this is really, really good stuff.
Yeah,
this is really, really good stuff. But, I like to share these type of real experiences too, outside of just, I know we can always talk about the real estate, but it is important that people understand that, Dominican Republic, it's more of an experience. Yes, it's somewhere you can work out of. It's somewhere you can live extremely nice, but every single day, just like Kathleen said it, Jose said it, it's an experience, man.
Speaking
I
of Kathleen, she said she just sent a message to our group chat here. 50 important hashtags. This is the type of resources. I mean, we got a bunch of people that do different things well. I'm one of them. There's some things, some part of the businesses I don't touch, I don't like. I've got some I got some things that I do kind of half-ass, some things that I'm good at, and some things that I don't do at all. So it's so nice when you got people like Kathleen, who's mastered in the organization department. Again, not one of my strengths. But you know what? I don't take the time to put together. I take them from my Buying Dominican Republic Twitter handle. I put them in my my profile, and then I go to edit the profile, and I copy what's in there, and then I'll just paste it and put it in one of my tweets. So it's handy. But I really should have a document for this kind of stuff. But as we're talking, I'm just thinking, you know what? Look at all these things. This is really, works for what we're doing down here. They're all real estate related and Viva related hashtags. So I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, we got a decent team, man. It's growing all the time. So, and you know what? My last show, I was kind of shouting out for, I'm looking for a guy like Patrick. I want a Dominican Patrick though. Somebody that's got the local connections, somebody that speaks the language well. I know Patrick's got a decent, they'll speak of the devil, and he shall appear. There he is. I'm looking for someone to mentor because, a lot of the stuff I'm not down with. You know what I mean? Like, I like to be involved in the negotiation and the important, the psychological aspect of the real estate game and, the salesmanship. I love that kind of stuff. But when it comes to showing houses and going to the bank with them and holding hands, I want my kid to do that, and I'll be there to manage it and just take a piece of the action. So that, it's something I told Clayton, we've got a guy down here that I won't name right now that's with another real estate agency. And I'm like, I want that kid. I want, I used his name and, he's really connected. His father's a big shot. He's Dominican. He speaks the language. He knows everyone around town. And he's like 21. But by virtue of growing up here, he's got so many contacts. He's crushing deals. And, I'm not looking to ride a kid to my financial freedom. I'm looking to train a kid that doesn't know anything about salesmanship, doesn't know anything about real estate, but has got a car, a good grasp of the language, and good connections, and doesn't know how to maximize it or exploit it. I know exploit isn't always the nicest term, but I mean that in a solid way as far as exploit your contacts for business. So that's something I'll just throw out there just in case somebody's, and I'd like it to be a boy. Because guys are hungry. They'll work 12, 14, 16 hours a day, I love my women and everything, but I want a hungry man or at least a boy, somebody that will bang all day. And I mean phones or contacts or the computer or just, so that's something that I'm just putting out there as far as that goes. And I know, Patrick, we've been kind of bringing him in slowly. And he'll be a rising star one day, man. Talented kid. Okay. So thanks for joining us, brother.
Patrick already a superstar on this side of town. This guy's been I'm gonna edify him right quick. He's been featured in a few magazines, a few headliners. As a young mogul, he had an opportunity about I guess about and about 2 years ago, he joined a small group of young real estate agents called was it the Badass Real Estate? It was like an academy where they were interning with some wholesalers where they actually were the boots on the ground, to go find the properties, go into the platforms and look up. I mean, these guys were doing skip search. And when I mean skip search, I'm talking about find out who the original owners are. When was the property built? Which it was in 1935, the original blueprint, the first owner, who financed it, who paid it off, if it was transferred, all the way to if it's in foreclosure status. So that was pretty impressive, what these guys did. And I think, yes, he's definitely going to be able to bring that energy on this side. Well, Patrick Noel, what's up, Mr. Gene? What say you, brother?
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you, Mr. Andy Jean. Thank you, Jim Fannin. I'm only 19 years old, and I'm very, very hungry. I love learning, and the real estate aspect of life is very, very important. So I would like to focus and keep my mind in real estate because real estate is a very, very beautiful industry. There's land, there's commercial buildings, there's restaurants, there's hospitals. So it's a lot of things you can do in real estate. And me being young, um, I would love to inspire other kids to do the same thing as well. And opportunity is there, so why not?
Knock, knock. I got a comment here from Jay Smith. We are selling Caterland then, or K-Lock. I don't know what that refers to. So, Jay Smith, whoever you are, you're going to have to fill me in with what you're talking about. But he says, hey, guys. So maybe it's one of your contacts, but it's coming in on my stream. So, sorry to sidetrack the conversation. I don't get many comments. I'm so excited when I get a comment. Oh, my gosh.
No, you know what it is. Patrick. Oh no, awesome. I appreciate you coming on, Patrick. Just like Jim said, it's all about us as the young men. We need that fire, that energy, because it is real estate, and we're not here to divide or definitely in the time like this to be not include the women. But I do appreciate when I see young men actually out there just beating the pavement, just wanted to be young kings, just seeing the life more than just a participation trophy type mindset, but actually want to go out there and be champions, winners. They want to conquer, and I think that's actually healthy for the young men of today because we want to build wealth, we want legacy, so we have to make sure that we broadly train them and put them in spaces where they can really define and become their best versions of themselves. So big shout out to you, Patrick. But Patrick, I know Jim's been doing his thing, but I want to, the other day you had a really good meeting, I would say interview with Annie Gush, and
Yeah.
you guys brought some pretty great points. And we know that we have parents out there watching, and you being young and actually in the real estate space, how is it that the transition, or at least you dabbling in this space as an intern perspective, how has that been for you?
Well, I've learned a lot because what the perspective I had on real estate was you buy a house, you sell it, you buy a house, you sell it, you make money. But as I tend to stay a little bit longer, I understand that there's you have to understand the language. There's a real estate language. Um, you have to understand sales, finance. You got to know your numbers. You got to understand people personalities, because selling a home is like a deep connection because people have homes for years and they're not gonna just sell it because the money sounds right. There's an emotional attached to it. So I'm learning multiple things in this industry, and me being young, I think it's an opportunity because I'm learning the ins and outs. And being an intern, I'm not saying I'm not on the field, but I'm in the back end observing, watching, and learning. So I know the ups and downs, and if I can help, I will help. But I always take notes, and kids who's watching, take notes, always be an intentional learner, always absorb, because I'm not gonna act like I know everything in the space. So I'm gonna sit back, listen, and observe. And the real estate, it's very interesting because you also gonna be on the field. You may be looking at land. You have to look at the land. There's architect. There's surveyors. How to build a foundation of a home. It starts from the ground up, the pipes, the electrical system, the sewers. So there's a lot of fundamentals within a house that you need to understand and learn. Because if you're gonna sell homes, you have to understand what you're selling.
I'm speechless, man. This brother, I'm speechless. Jim is like, yo,
that's a first.
What's going on here? I mean, we got to get. It's like the work already is in motion right now. I mean, you broke down the foundation. You entered the psychology of actually owning a home. It's not just just four walls or walls, but it's a place where memories are created. It's a place where careers may have started. Some of the ideas. There's garages where some of the greatest ideas were founded, and it became Fortune 500 to becoming probably mega enterprises worldwide. Started in a garage or at home. I remember Robert Kiyosaki's book about Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I love the story of the Robert Kiyosaki and his friend Mike, how they wanted to make money. And they said, hey, I want to make money. And they went to an adult and he said, well, go make money. So those guys started creating counterfeit money. And right before they realized, hey, that's illegal, they were printing money. And they're like, no, you can't do that. You can't just make your own money. So that opened the door for them to, that opened the door for them to actually start learning and sitting down and understanding the what we call the four quadrants of the financial quadrant, the financial mindset. And I would like Patrick to share it with us because it is the time of the youth. But I want to talk about Robert Kiyosaki and maybe talk about the financial quadrant. Tell me a little bit about it. I'm gonna throw you out there and tell me about it.
Well, see, if you were wondering what do you want to be in life, you got to understand the four quadrants. So the first one is employee, which is you are a wage earner. You work for an organization or a company. The second one is self-employed. Self-employed means you are your own boss, but you don't have any employees. The third one is you are a business owner. A business owner he's the boss and he has employees working. And the fourth one is investor. Investor is more like someone who invests his money into ideas, and the businessman is the one who creates the idea. So it's a difference between them two. So those are pretty much the four quadrant. So if you want to become an investor, that's the I. If you want to be a business, that's the B. Self-employed is S, and employee is E. So that's how you can classify it. That's the four quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki.
I'm taking notes here, Jim Fannin. What say you, sir?
Well, I'm more a Think and Grow Rich guy. I'm a Napoleon Hill student, and I love what the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. And Napoleon Hill did that in the 30s, man. Like that, he's God when it comes to getting what you want. And Think and Grow Rich wasn't just about making money. It was about getting whatever you wanted from life. And I'm probably a better teacher than I am applying the concepts in my own life, because it's a pretty deep book. But that's the one that affected me the most. And the Napoleon Hill's legendary. And to think that he was doing that back in the 30s is great. So anyone that doesn't know what Think and Grow Rich is all about, who is it that hired him? Oh shoot, I can't remember who's Napoleon Hill's mentor that said, I want you to go around.
Basically, if you read the story, he was writing articles.
Yeah, he was mentored by a guy that said, I want you to go and interview, and I'll put you in touch with, Ford, the automaker, and who's the other big guy? It was the Beatles song about the holes in the ceiling. What Carnegie? He put him in touch with Carnegie, and he went around the steel guy. What was his name? Who was the big steel? Anyways, he put him in touch with all these fabulously successful people, and his job. What he was recruited to do was interview these guys and come up with a common theme of what all these successful men had in their life, and he made a book out of it. And you don't know. I don't know if Napoleon Hill necessarily died a rich man, but he certainly has made a bunch of very successful people out of the philosophy Think and Grow Rich. But again, it's not just about getting paid; it's about getting what you want out of life. So that's where I kind of drift to as far as my bedrock of doing business and keeping a positive mental attitude. That's a Napoleon Hill mindset, right? PMA. So that's a little bit about my shtick.
Oh no, thank you. No, I think you give some pretty good insight on that, and it's all about mindset. I mean, I'm part of an incredible group here called Epic Talks. We call it Tribes. We started off with probably 8 or 10 members of the group post COVID, and right now we're almost at 100. But we have tens of thousands of followers in terms of the movement. It's not the cheapest to be a member, but the benefits in terms of travels, meeting people around the world. I was hoping that Patrick was able to play that just on here, but we do have some incredible videos where people are screaming to the top of their lungs, what do we do next? Where do we work? Where do we live? Where do we invest our money? So people are sounding the alarm, and there's a lot of shift in power, a lot of shift in the financial global institution. I hate using trigger words like instability, but there's a lot of motion, and it's important to really check your bottom, check your dollar and check your account, check your I would say your nest egg, is it really solid? And really open that conversation, whether you're a husband or a family wife or single, or you just retired, or if you're a young man just entering the world of financial and working, and perhaps owning your first piece of real estate. It is time for you to really engage and listen to people like Jim Fannin, Clayton Gush, Kathleen. You guys, just listen to folks who are actually doing it. And Patrick, I love the insight on how you gave the breakdown on the 4 quadrants. I guess Robert Kiyosaki broke down on employment, business, self-employed, and employee. But right now we are entering a new space. I think he wasn't aware of this. But what's your word? What's your intake on being a digital nomad? Right, you went to school. You've been accustomed that the next step is to go to college and work from a company nearby. But what's your perspective on this?
Well, I know some kids, they love to travel, they want to travel the world and learn as well. But being a digital nomad allows you to travel and still learn because you're digital. You're connected to a Wi-Fi, you have your computer, you're able to work anywhere in the world. So I feel like being a digital nomad gives you a really, really big advantage of your mental health, your environment, the because your environment is what determines who you are. So if you gotta always be in good environments, um, and it's a technology. So technology is worldwide. So you always plugged in, you're always connected. You can do your classes, you can do meetings, you can have a virtual company, and there's a lot of benefits that comes with being a digital nomad. You're always traveling, you're always on the go, always in beautiful places. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with being a digital nomad.
I remember, Jim, when the term entrepreneur was starting to boom. We were called the individuals with no job, with no careers, because we didn't want to, live and operate a certain way. Because being an entrepreneur was really not necessarily, subscribing to the 9 to 5 mentality. I'm talking about me. And I love work, man. I went to school, studied business, entered a little bit of finances, but I could not see myself doing 60, 80-hour weeks and just, on my mind, just the same thing. So entrepreneurism was more of an escape for me. And, it allowed me to build a really nice portfolio here in the United States where those, great gains and premiums, are allowing me to live a really, comfortable life. But, I'm enjoying the position that I'm in. I'm excited about this show. Patrick, thank you for your feedback. We're basically at the top of the hour. Jim, we normally go on and on, but, I'm happy if you want to, segue or jump into some, some areas you feel comfortable talking about. I try to minimize on, politics only because, I have some real friends on here, man. If they plug in, it could be a divert to a whole different conversation.
Bad idea going political. Well, Patrick, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. I will pimp up one of my listings on the way out, and it was something that comes up for me. One, I want to thank you. I don't think you might not be aware, but I'll acknowledge you right now. You've become a mentor for me and a good friend and a guy that I've leaned on, when I'm not feeling right. And I don't know if you're fully present to how much you mean to me. So thank you for that. The show was great today, and I appreciate being the guest a lot more than I do being the host. So that said, I do have one more listing I'll get to on the way out. But just as Patrick was speaking, and like I said, I've learned to listen a lot better. And when I listen, I get things. You're not getting any great ideas as your lips are moving, right? And so, we're talking about entrepreneurship, and one of the first shows we did, I'm like, school, college, for what? Who's going to spend $50K a year, $25,000 American a year to get a degree in something you'll never use? There's no life after school, man. Get in the workforce. And this idea that, you need a degree, No, you don't. What you need is a good mentor. And that's why I think it's so important that we all have mentors, right? And that especially our kids, we're not preparing our kids in school for life after school. We're not teaching kids how to run a budget, how to, manage a family, family's finances or anything like that. So I think it's a good idea to get the kids out of the school, because they're just indoctrination camps, and look what they're teaching them these days, and they're not teaching them anything that they actually need to get rolling. So I'm all with you, AJ. You know what? Get these kids rolling on the street right now, learning how to get things done, because all those years that you could be in school or you could be making money on the street, you're in school spending it, and I just don't get it. So I appreciate your time. And just before I go, let's see if I can do this on the fly. I'm going to present and then share my screen. And what am I showing you here? I'm going to show you the video walkthrough. Oh, yeah, this is a new listing I just took. It's across the street. It's in Residencial Tropimar. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I think I got it right. And, let's mute that. Although I do appreciate Matt McPherson's music. That's Want Some. It's one of my favorite tunes, and it's under bed for a lot of my videos. This thing's $82,000. It's a main floor, two-bedroom condo.
Are you sharing it on your page?
Yeah, I'm sharing it with you.
No, I don't see it.
Okay. Let me see.
You have to go to the...
Damn, you didn't get the last video I shared then either. Okay, let's do this. Okay. I guess I didn't do it as well as I thought. Let's do this.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I just didn't click it. Okay. Full video walkthrough. There you go, dummy. Okay, let's start this over again. I was talking to me when I said dummy, by the way. Oh, full screen. Okay, you seeing it now, AJ?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is a two-bedroom condo at $82,000. It's on the main floor. Excuse my corny video. I'm not a very good video editor, so it does look a little corny. That's the front of the building, and just walking through. But for $82,000 to have a main floor two-bedroom condo in a building like this, there's the view from the patio, and this is just a quick walkthrough. It's not huge. Okay, you can tell the galley kitchen it's very efficient use of space. In fact, it was a one-bedroom. They made it a two-bedroom, so you can open. That's Is that the master? No, that's the small bedroom. So that wall right there to the right, you can take out and make it part of the entrance and the kitchen. And this is the bedroom. It's got a small laundry area and a little bit of a patio out the front. And I think you'll see the front of the building there as well. And that's Trezo Tropimar across the street. But for $82K, it's furnished. It comes with everything that you see here, including that built-in wardrobe. I hate when I put myself in the picture in the mirror. That's bad. And even worse when you get the vendor. The vendor's walking outside. See, they don't call them tenants here. They're renters. And they're sellers. They're not vendors. I still get I've got the wicked old language from back in my Canadian realtor days. So that is Residencial Tropimar, $82,000. It's my new favorite listing. So get on it, boys. Sell that thing for me. Can't remember what to sell. 5% to selling broker. And that's the other. Oh, you guys asked about commission coach. So I should talk about that just a little bit before we go. I know you're pushed for time here. Commission coach, I started back in Canada because when I got into the business, it was 6%. You got 3 to the listing agent and 3 to the selling broker. And then there started to be downward pressure put on commissions. And there was realtors, brokerages out there that were saying, when someone calls you and they ask how much your commission is, just tell them 5%. Let's buy the business. But the problem is that everyone was offering 3% to the selling broker. And then if you were at 5%, you were 2.5%. So why would I show your listing at 2.5 when I can make 3% everywhere else? In today's day and age, that's $5,000-$10,000 in commission for the agent. So you could, greed is good. The whole what was that? A Wall Street? That was one of the lines from Wall Street. Greed is good. Is that where it comes from? Anyway, it's the same thing here. So I'm not going to name them, but for instance, Casa Linda. Commissions are crazy down here. If you've got the buyer, some commissions are 10% to the buyer's agent. Casa Linda, if you bring a buyer over, you don't get any deals on Casa Linda. The commission's built into the price, and it's 10%. But if you go down the road to this competing developer over here, they're 7%. And so 3% of $500,000 is $15,000. Why would I show this one down the street and make $15,000 less when I can show Casa Linda over here and get the full rate? So Commission Coach was designed to coach agents, but more importantly, I teach this to my clients. You think that a cheaper commission is going to put more money in your pocket? You're wrong. And so, I'm all about busting myths, old wives' tales, urban legends that don't work. Oh, there's nice property. I see a bunch of my properties going by. I'm getting distracted. And people think that a lower commission is going to put more money in their pocket. It absolutely doesn't. So for all my commissions down here, it's 5% to selling broker. If you bring the buyer and you're an agent, or hell, if you're sending business from North America, like I know we're still in North America, but from the proper continent of Canada or the United States, there's a big fat commission involved in here for you sending business down here. So the Commission Coach is, I think it's thecommissioncoach.com, thecommissioncoach.com. It was set up for realtors and brokerages and conferences to speak to agents on how to get better commissions. But it's something I go through with every single one of my vendors. Every single one of my sellers gets a pitch on why offering a higher commission to the selling broker that usually works for the buyer could put more money in your pocket. And there's two questions most realtors will answer incorrectly. If you're sitting at your desk and a lead comes in and they go, ring, ring, hey, Mr. Agent, how much is your commission? I can guarantee you 100% of the agents answer that question incorrectly. There's a very obvious answer that most agents don't get. And the other thing is, if you're the seller, and you ask your agent this, when's the best time for me to negotiate commission with you? When do I have leverage in the deal? When is that? Most agents can't tell you that. The Commission Coach was designed to answer those questions because there's very obvious questions. I'll give you the one. What's your commission? It's negotiable. If I get you premium dollar, I want premium dollar. If you go down on your price, then I'll be negotiable down the road. And that kind of answers the second question as well, is when's the best time to negotiate commission? When you have leverage. Which means before you take less than the contract price. If you take the contract price, it's right in the contract. We know how much you pay. But if you take tens of thousands of dollars less before you do that, with your agent sitting across from you, and this is what I teach my people, is when and how to negotiate with me, is when they have leverage. Well, I'll take this if you guys take that. You see how it works? Now you've got leverage over your agent. So I kind of give them the book away, and that's, as I say, the book. It's not a book yet. And I really appreciate you hooking me up with your publisher there, AJ. I'm going to reach out to him, but what I'm looking for is somebody to help me ghostwrite this thing, because the bones are all there. I just need the flesh put around it. And I just don't have the discipline or the time or the focus to sit down and write. Yeah, I don't care if it's 100 or 200 pages. It's not going to be a huge book. It's a how-to. But I just need somebody. I'd like to have somebody. I want somebody that'll help me put the flesh on the bones and make the commission coach an actual book, because it's not just for agencies, agents, brokerages, and conferences. It's for every seller that's ever sold a house that thinks that a lower commission is going to put more money in your pocket. It's absolutely not true. And in fact, the reverse is true. So if you go to thecommissioncoach.com, you can actually sign up for a program, pay me $500 American, and not only will I give you all the scripts to handle your buyer, but I'll give you coaching in the field, because just like Think and Grow Rich, you can have all of the answers, but when you're in the field and you come up against an objection, you got to know how to handle it. And I can't teach you all the objection handling techniques. I can give you all the scripts of, why it's better to have a bigger commission than a lower commission, why a discount commission won't put more money in your pocket necessarily. But when you're in the field, you're going to get stumped, and then you can call me and go, hey, what do you say to this? And it's not sleight of hand. It's not illusion. It's all very literal, and it's business. It's economics. So how to use commission, the subtitle will be how to use commission to sell your property for more money. And it means a higher commission. So I'm going to put out a flyer later. It's got 6 properties on top. Every single property that I have is 5% to the selling broker, to the co-op. So if you're sending business down here, you can make yourself 5%. And you don't even need to be an agent to work in this country or to get paid. That's the greatest part about this. In Canada and the U.S., I couldn't pay my mortgage broker for sending me. Oh, thank you, commission coach. He corrected it on the fly. AJ, impressive. Or is that Patrick?
Either way. I'm keeping the commission code, by the way.
Okay, the commission code.
That's the 2.0.
Yeah, okay, commission code. Yeah.
And I'll put that it was inspired by the commission
coach. Yeah, whatever you do, that's fine, man. I don't care. I don't care what you say about me. Just say something. I don't care what you call me. Just call me. Don't call me late for dinner. And that's another thing. I'm making chicken guiso today.
Ooh.
Guisado. Chicken guisado. It's chicken stew. It's Dominican chicken stew. I'm doing it today. AJ, I've been talking about it for a long time. It's one of my favorite dishes. I had a Haitian lady that knew, oh my God, she made this thing taste so good. And I haven't had it for months. And I just figured, well, if you want something that tastes good, you got to learn how to cook it. So that's what I'm doing when I get off the phone with you. I'm going to marinate some chicken, and it's guisado stew, I think. So chicken stew, Dominican style. And it's too bad you're not in town, man. I'd be hooking you up with a gluten-free chicken product today.
All right. Well, I want to go ahead and we're going to be, and thank you very much. I just want to go ahead and share a nice little property. Somebody was asking me, how these condos are looking, man. Some of these really incredible properties, with the views on the beach, right there on the bay.
Oh, that's my Kite Beach Inn. That's $2.99 million. That is a cash cow. 26 rooms on the beach.
Hotel.
Yeah, with I can't remember. There's 18 titles there or something, so you could develop it as condos. That is a really good deal. It's been listed for a long time. They're kind of holding out for their right price, but again, 5% to co-op. If you got a buyer for it, send them down here. They're in the bottom left corner. That's a decent one. That's Chiquita Beach, Caribbean Diamond. She does $140,000 a year cash profit. So at $1.4 million, that's a 10 cap. It's a deal. And she'll hold some financing on it. It's 5 years old.
Is incredible for
built
sure.
by the owner, and every room looks exactly like that, except the 2 penthouses up top. They need renovation. They need completion, actually. She never did complete them. COVID hit, and it hit her hard. And she's just like, you know what? I want out of here. I'm not doing any more work or putting any more money into this property. I want a little condo. And that's actually a very decent property. And it's about 70 meters from Chiquita Beach. And Chiquita Beach is about this big. It's got 2 huge boulders on each side. And you don't go there when it's windy because you will get tossed around. Yeah, really cool. Down by Chiquita, the casinos down there. And some really, some larger homes like mansions on the ocean, and that's a good little business there. Thanks for showing that.
For sure.
30 years. I don't look that old, do I? 30 years real estate experience.
I'm looking at a nice little, let me just start from the top. It's a nice little view here. A residential villa.
El Choco.
Yeah.
El Choco's a cool spot too. And today, you notice that, well, you're not in town, but today there's no breeze. And usually I get a breeze blowing through my house. And today it's very still, which makes it a little bit warmer. And winter's over. Summer's coming. And from now until October, it's going to be, well, I always used to say hot as Haiti. That seems pointless now. It's Africa hot now. I don't know. It's hot as Dominican Republic, man. It's like nasty. And you know what? When the hottest part of the day is, well, it's during the day, obviously, when the sun's shining. But in my place, when the sun goes down and the wind stops, I go into overheat mode. You know, I'm not looking for the air conditioner during the day much because the wind's blowing and you can always jump in the pool or whatever. But when the sun goes down, the wind stops. You're like, oh, geez, 87 degrees doesn't feel so comfy with no breeze. But so yeah, it's coming, man. But I'm looking forward to it. Going on my second year down here, and couldn't be happier. I hope everyone in my family lives a long life, so I don't have to go back to Canada anytime soon.
Over here, I'm actually showing a nice little, because I get a lot of calls, a lot of inquiries about land. You know, folks want to actually come and start their own project. We got a beautiful land on the coast, 3 million. Couple parcels, seems like right there on the coast, incredible. Those coral.
There's not a whole lot of land left in Perla Marina, and that's the only ocean front in Perla Marina that I'm aware of right now. So, and if you don't like the price, look at the size of that thing. 9,000 meters. It's 3/4. 9,000, 90,000. It's 2 acres. Yeah, 2 acres. And it's already split, but there's nothing like that in Casa Marina. That's Perla Marina. Casa Marina is a resort. That $3 million, yeah. If you don't like the price, make an offer. You know, a lot of people, and I was in this mode when I first got down here because everything's sold for full price. They're like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean you want to negotiate? No, you want to buy my place, that's the price, period. That's not how it works up in Canada. Down here, a lot of properties sold for full pop. And it's not because things are flying off the shelf. You could be listed for 4 or 5 months, and when your offer comes in, you just say, no, if you want it, you're paying full price. And if they want it, they pay full price. But I'm not saying that's always the way, because we've had a couple really vicious deals, especially in Casa Linda. 2, like a 6-bedroom in there, just sold. I sold a 5-bedroom. Dude, it rents for $420 a night, and it's sold for $405. $405,000 American. A 5-bedroom Casa Linda with one of the largest lots in Casa Linda. So you will, and he was at $550. He kept coming down. But even when he sold at $405, he was listed at $450. So if you don't love the price, don't be afraid to toss an offer in. You need a cash deposit. You need money in the bank to throw down on a deposit. You can make it refundable. Some deposits are not refundable, especially when you go into some of these Dominican developments. But if you have a good agent and you want to put a condition in there, you want to do your due diligence, make the deposit refundable. It's totally doable. So if you don't like the price, you got to put up a deposit while you do your due diligence, while you're in escrow, and then try an offer, man. You never know. And it's no different than real estate anywhere else. Try an offer. If you don't like the price, throw an offer in. And if you're not, emotionally tied up with the property, then that's how you win. You toss an offer here, they don't take it. You go, okay, I'll try the next one. Toss an offer in over here. Oh, you don't like that one? Toss an offer in here, and they take it, and then you're like, oh, I hit the jackpot. And instant equity is what we want for all our buyers, right? We want when they close for them to be able to sell the paper, to assign the offer. It's a signable clause. Down here, you don't even need a signable clause. You just sell the paper. It's unbelievable how wide open it is and how unregulated it is down here. But you still, as long as you got a good lawyer and you got an agent that you trust, that's all you need down here to be well taken care of. But just like anything else, watch your step. But appreciate your time, brother.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it, man. What an incredible show today. I would say we did our thing. Thank you, Jim. And for all who participated, who's watching, big shout out to you guys that down there in Dominican Republic, Team Viva. Yeah. I know you guys had an incredible meeting today. Patrick, I know you came out, you said it was fireworks, it was such a new inventory. Just you said the energy was just on 10x in terms of what's being rolled out and what to expect out there. So Patrick, I'm gonna let you go ahead and close it out a little bit, man. I think I'm gonna give you the honor and closing it out, and then we're gonna finish the show, my man. Go ahead.
Hit it. Go Yard.
You gotta unmute.
Go Yard, my man.
First of all, I want to say thank you to Mr. Anthony Jean for inviting me on the show. And I want to say thank you to Jim Fannin teaching me about commission, because commission is a topic that I'm not really familiar with, but having you around, I know I will have a better understanding of commission. And I just want to say, guys, be open-minded, explore, and Dominican Republic should be on your map, on the list to go to visit. So guys, have a wonderful day. I hope we covered up a lot of confusion inside your mind. And Viva Team is out.
Peace out, yo. Peace, love.
I'm a businessman. I'm a family man. I'm ready to take my own personal business to the next level. We're actually first as part of something major. We're here to win with others together. Lives are being changed. We have no choice just to take our life and throw into something different, transform our lives. Don't just be one of the viewers down here. You want to be one of the people over here with us. And I assure you, we're going to put you in a position to win.
The broadcast has ended. Well, it hasn't ended for me. Oh, no. Oh, my God. I'm still broadcasting. Let's get this out here. It's overtime. It's the after party. It's the tailgate with Andy, Jean, and Patrick. Dude, that was lots of fun. I'm still live here, still recording as well. I don't know why I'm having bandwidth issues. I said it right because usually I say bandwidth issues. But that was fun. Thank you for that, boys. Appreciate it. No, I'm all alone on my own StreamYard channel. Andy Jean, that was fun, man. So an hour and a half, that's about all you need. And while we got you here, one more time, let's hit this bad boy one more time. This is for rent. I need to get this thing rented for May 1st. I'm asking $650. I'll take less if you take it for a extended period of time, like 6 months, 1 year. It's cleaned up. The couch is recovered. It's clean, top to bottom, behind the fridge, behind the stove, all the dishes, all the cupboards, all the drawers. completely washed out. And it's got Wi-Fi. I think we're going to put a brand new smart TV in there because there's not a TV in it now. That's the balcony overlooking the pool. I quoted $565 for a year, May to May, the other day. That's not going together because health problems. It's furnished. There's sheets, towels, linens, and silverware and plates and all that kind of stuff. It's a good deal. And I already showed you the 2-bedroom condo. So that is, well, we're asking $650. So it's on Airbnb. I'm an Airbnb host now. Never thought I'd see the day that I was hosting on Airbnb, but you can rent this for $28 a night with a 7 week? Yeah, I'd like a 7 week minimum. 7 day minimum. $28. I think I'm going to $30. I'm managing it for a client. That's what it looks like when you walk out the house. So I'm going to sign out. I got to make some chicken stew, chicken guisado. Yeah. All right. Peace, love. Hug your neighbor. I'm out.